Welcome back to Wall Street Silver. I have today Tom Larsen and Quinton Hennigh with us. We'd like to talk about Eloro resources, and I noticed that you guys have had some pretty impressive news releases lately. And I wanted to ask you, Quinton, put this in layman's terms. I'm going to share the recent press release you guys have done about your drilling results in Eloro. Help us understand how big is this and why is this important?
Yeah, first of all, you got to kind of put the thing in context. What are we looking for? And what we're looking for is a particular type of deposit that's somewhat unique to southern Bolivia. Okay, this is the Bolivian silver tin polymetallic type system. Why is this deposit important? Well, first of all, the metal endowment of these things is perhaps the strongest in terms of certainly of silver and even tin of any deposits on the planet. If you look at the Potosi district, which is to the north of us, a historic district, produced well over 1 billion ounces of silver, but also lots of tin and other metals. And people don't necessarily think about the other metals, but they're very important in these systems. What's the case for us? We have drill intercepts that we've released here recently, but also prior to this, several releases now of drill results, very, very long intercepts that show we're in a very, very big system, very much like Potosi. If anything, we have an entirely preserved Potosi here. We have basically these deposits. They form in the core of an extinct volcano. The magma that came up and erupted forms the volcano, but usually there's a later phase of magma that comes up and kind of parks itself somewhere below the ground. And it's that magma that generates all these wonderful metals. As that magma cools, solidifies, it expels a lot of the metals, including precious metals, in this case silver and some gold, but also tin, base metals like zinc and lead and copper, and some other things too. But basically it forms a shell, if you will. So if you look at the results we have, they show that we're within this mineralized shell, in and around this very large intrusion, but it gets better. We are actually seeing multiple vents, basically multiple evidence of multiple intrusive centers scattered around what's called a caldera, which is a circular-like feature. This is basically a multi-phase system. It's seen many different pulses of magma and subsequent mineralization. So this hole, if you add it to the long list of holes we've had so far, just adds to the huge, huge intercepts of mineralization that we're seeing. Silver, tin, lead, zinc, in some places gold. Like I said, it's just an absolute smorgasbord of metal.
The potential here, it's been described as one of the biggest finds. It's one of the bigger finds on the planet in recent years. Would you describe that as accurate? That's just pure speculation I've seen on Twitter. Is that accurate from a geological point of view in your experience?
In my view, we're starting to see volumes of rock. We have very widely spaced drill holes, by the way. We're in early stages. We started drilling in September of last year. And although we drilled something like 33 holes at this point, we only have assays for about half of them, maybe a little less than half. Assay turnaround's a bit slow, but we're catching up. But what's important here is that all of these holes have delivered multiple long intervals of mineralization, as you can see here.
Yeah, I mean, these are really thick intervals. I normally see people highlighting 10 meters here, 5 meters here, and I'm just seeing huge, thick intervals here. This is unusual, isn't it?
That is right, and it's characteristic of this particular type of system. These things, like I said, they form within a volcano, and there's a lot of volume of rock it's been affected by the fluids that came off of these magmas to produce these long intervals. I'm a gold guy. Typically, I usually work on gold systems. When I look at these numbers, if you look in aggregate, I think there's something over 400 meters of mineralized rock in the most recent drill hole that was announced, hole 7. That's out of an overall length of a little over 600 meters. So basically about 2/3 of the hole is mineralized and reportable. And then if you translate that, like I do in my head, just to get a sense of the value of the rock, anybody that knows gold knows if you saw 100, 150, 200 meters of, say, 1.5 grams gold, you get pretty excited. Well, if you start translating those numbers, take the silver equivalency, turn it into dollars, and then translate it into gold from there, you can see we're well within that range. 1.5, 1.7 kind of gram gold equivalent grades translated from the grade shown in the news release. So this is, it's mind-boggling to think about how much volume of rock we have that's mineralized and how much endowment this system might have. It's truly going to be a world-class system.
At what point will we possibly have a resource update from Eloro? Is that too soon? Is it too soon to be asking about a resource estimate?
It is very early. Like I said, we have wide space drilling right now. We're drilling further to the south to Porco Sur, which is the southernmost pipe or breccia vent that I talked about. I think once we have an actual understanding of the limits of the system, we can talk more about what the overall goal towards the resource is. Right now, we're simply trying to feel our way out and see what the edge of the system is, and it's proving to be huge. To my knowledge, every single hole that we drilled, well, obviously every hole that we've announced is well mineralized. So, we're inside the envelope right now. We got to find the edges of it before we go talking about resource.
Quinton, I might add just to that, just from the standpoint that, currently we do have 3 active drills, two on surface, 1 underground, and we actually are sort of zeroing in a little bit on the eastern side of that Santa Barbara breccia adit and throughout that particular section where we might, it's early days again, but we could be hitting some sort of supergene, higher grade, where we might, focus in on an initial 43101 inferred, which I think Dr. Pearson and Dr. Oswaldo Arce are maybe hoping initially for October area, a time period for the first 43101. Obviously, that's not going to encompass what Quinton is talking about the overall size of this thing.
Well, it's all very exciting. The stock has certainly taken off as a result of, let me hold that up real quick. The stock has certainly responded favorably in the past few months since these new releases have been coming out, and I'm sure your investors are really pleased. I know I am, and look forward to hearing a lot more from Eloro going forward. So we can expect just a lot more lab results from the drill. How many throughout the summer? We're probably going to get a steady release of drill results going forward.
Absolutely. Look, there's going to be a long series of releases coming up here. We got, like Tom said, we got 3 drills turning on site. These 3 are testing both the limits of the system as well as starting to kind of test the areas between previous drill holes. We have a lot of exciting holes in the lab or being prepared to go to the lab right now. One of the more interesting holes that's going to come up shortly is actually hole 10, which is just a couple holes past the one we've released. It hit a very long interval of sulfide mineralization. Don't know what it's going to run yet, but it looked quite interesting. So we've got a long, steady stream of news. Certainly, even if we announce a resource later this year, it's not going to be the end of it. Like this system.
It's the beginning, right?
Yeah, it's the beginning. Absolutely.
Gotcha. Well, thank you very much for the update, Quinton, Tom. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to hearing more in the coming months as these future drill results are released.
Well, that's great, Jim. Thanks for having us.